Guys, I'm so sorry about this. We will get there eventually. I just do not know how to work it, and Lily doesn't know how to work it, and there's problems with the volume, and we're just all very confused. So hang on. Oh my God. Is it working? Lily said she's requested. It's connected. Oh, yay!
We did it!
Oh my God, it took like a million years.
Is this, will people on my page
I think
see
it
this
connects
too?
with both.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me
Right,
close
hang on,
my...
I have to dust myself. Oh my God, I had a panic attack. I was so worried. I was like, our famous live isn't going to happen.
Okay, and you can hear us. Okay, cool.
It's evening here, so I've got my pillow. I'm in bed. Got my tea.
I'm in my messy little kitchen of my rental that I'm staying in. How do I get the words to go away?
I think that just stays on.
Okay, shall we begin?
Yes, I have my notes.
You have your notes. I have my little laptop next to me.
Oh, well, I've got my laptop as well, but that's just mainly for the light because I'm all about the angles, you know?
I know, I feel you. I'm very tempted to mimic your accent, but I'll try not to.
Please do. Have you seen that video that came on the other day, and it was that American girl trying to read like English sayings?
No.
I'll send it to you. It's really weird, but anyway, I'm so excited.
Me too. So I was saying before we started that the other night, I just texted you and I was like, you know what we should do? We should just do an Instagram live where we talk about body image problems and something along those lines, because I need something to do. You need something to do. We all need something to watch.
I need something to do, Lily. I'm telling you now.
I know. So here we are. Do you want to start us off, or you want me to?
Yes, I do. Hang on, let me just get my questions out.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a discussion, right? So we're just going to like bounce off each other, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this. Are you happy in your body? And do you think it's ever possible to be 100% comfortable and content in your skin?
Am I happy with my body? I think it's never a straight answer. I think it is an ebb and flow. I can wake up sometimes and feel happy with my body at the beginning of the day, and then by the end of the day I'm like, oh, I hate my body. Or I feel uncomfortable, or I'm unhappy. And it's so interesting because I think women's bodies, I mean, I'm not a man, so I can't speak for men, but like throughout the day, our bodies change based on what we're eating, how much water we're consuming. And so, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, you know, I'm nice and my stomach's flat and I'm not bloated. And then by the end of the day, you look, you know, a size bigger than you are. And I think it can be confusing. And long story short, I think it is an ebb and flow. I think sometimes I feel happy with myself and sometimes I don't. But to be honest, since I started following you a while ago, and seeing the confidence you have when you post pictures of your body and your modeling shots, it kind of just reminds me to, I mean, I personally think you have an insanely gorgeous body, and
vice versa, my love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this. You are actually considered a plus size model, correct?
Yeah. Isn't that bizarre?
It's bizarre.
Now, I'm definitely not plus size.
Well, what is plus size? What does that mean?
So plus size in the modeling term, I guess, is anything above a US size 12, which is like a UK, let me think. I think that's like a 14, 16. So obviously I'm not that. And when I first started getting into modeling, there really wasn't a category for someone like me. And like people are starting now to kind of embrace my sort of body size, which is like a US 6 to 8, UK 10 to 12. But we've still got a really, really long way to go. But yeah, it's ridiculous. But people do put me in the plus size category, which is just so strange.
I mean,
I'll turn up. Oh, sorry. Like I'll turn up to some castings, and I remember like the first time, like I was like a size smaller than what I am now, and I go to a plus size casting, and they'd be like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, it was actually borderline offensive. And then I'd go to straight size castings where all the sort of skinnier models go, and they would literally be like, you're too big. So you really, really can't win.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been so weird. I've never been like a model. I've always been an actress, but along with that, you do photo shoots, whatever, and I mean, I would never categorize myself as like having a model type body, and I think I have a very like average sized body. I don't know what the average American woman's body is, but to me, the idea of plus size has like it just has like a negative connotation with it. Like you're calling a woman bigger than what they should be, in my opinion. It's like plus size is like, oh, you're just not skinny.
Yeah.
And I think obviously I think the modeling industry has a long way to go. And I think people like you who promote your healthy body and just like, to me, a very normal body. Like you have a rockin' body, but like it's very, you
I've got
look
my boobs
like
out today. You can't see, but I got them
I
out
know.
for you.
You have like a woman, you have a womanly body. You have curves and you have boobs and you have an ass and I just think once women start to like develop in those ways where you have bigger curves and like maybe not as a small of a waist, you're just immediately put into this category of being plus size.
Right.
And that's just so strange to me. But I guess it's the term plus size that has always just bothered me, because it's just, to me, I'm like, nope, you're not plus size. You literally just have like a natural, normal human body.
Right. And it's just that kind of categorization, isn't it, of women in general. Like, you can't ever just be a woman. It's like you have to put women in different categories all the time. And it's confusing. Like, no wonder like women have got body image issues. And I honestly don't know how young women, like young teenage girls, deal with it now, honestly. But I'm the same as you. Like, I look at you and your body, and again, you look, I mean, obviously you're beautiful, like you have an amazing body. And if I'd seen people that look like me in like shows like Riverdale or whatever it is, I would definitely have felt more comfortable with my body. But like, there wasn't anyone that looked like us, you know, growing up. And I think as well in America, like the plus size movement has very much been a thing for a while. In Europe and the UK, it's still quite far behind. But I definitely think that we've still got a long way to go, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I think there are people who've come out and kind of criticized me in the past for talking about my body image issues, because they say I don't have a right to talk about it because I'm still I'm still like, I guess, petite is what they're saying. So even then you can't feel bad about your body because you're still built a certain way. And so I mean, the bottom line is you can never please anyone.
You can't please anyone. But even like, you know, when we announced we were going to do this live, people were like, well, what have you guys got to feel bad about and stuff? And to a degree, like, I understand it, because like, no, we don't have any disabilities, like, or deformities or anything, like, and we've both been, you know, quite privileged in like in what we get to do, etc., etc. But I don't think you can just dismiss someone else's feelings.
No.
Or experiences. And I honestly believe that no matter like what size you are, like I've been everything from like a size 0 to like a size US 12, like a UK size 14. I felt shit about my body at every single size. Yeah. And society will make you feel bad at whatever size you are. So it's just really important that we just stop categorizing women and let them be.
Yeah, let them be.
And that's the end of the live. No, I'm joking.
That's where we conclude this. I think, I mean, you're so right. And I feel like once I was put into the spotlight a little bit from my show, you're put on a huge platform where people criticize you. You're kind of like just put on display, basically, for people to judge in a way. And as a model as well, people are just judging everything about you. And I think that's kind of when I started to be a little bit more self-conscious. I wasn't, and I was going to ask you, one of my questions for you was, when did you or do you remember when you first became aware of your weight? Like when you were like 10 or something, like did
Yeah,
you
I
become...
actually do. And so I wrote a book about my like eating disorders, and I wrote about, like, I went back in time and I tried to work out where it all developed from, and it 100% started when I was 9, about 8 or 9. And what happened was, I was in a girl gang in school, so we thought we were really cool.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 of us, and I remember, like, there was one girl in my group who was the biggest one. And what would happen is, over time, she would come into school and she'd be like, my mum says that you're really lucky because you're thin, and that, you know, you and your mum are really lucky because you guys don't have to work out, you just look the way that you do. And I remember thinking, well, okay, like, I have something that she doesn't have, because at the time I was like really lanky, I don't know if that's a word in America, really lanky, like a beanpole. And then another girl joined the group who was really skinny and really beautiful. And I think what happened was, you know, boys liked her, teachers liked her, she was good at stuff. The girls in the group would like line us up in order of thinness, and I wasn't the thinnest one anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like my brain almost like built up this connection where I thought, well, this girl's the skinniest one. If I want a boyfriend, or if I want to be good in school or popular or whatever it is, I have to be thin. And then I went to another school where I was really, really badly bullied. And that's when I really started to know that, like, I was massively associating thinness with success or like positivity. So yeah, it was really early for me. But I know that some girls, it's like younger. Like, how old were you?
I was actually much older when I first kind of developed. I had body dysmorphia when I was younger, but only for acne. And I like remember doing research about it, because body dysmorphia didn't seem like the right term, because it wasn't about like my physical, the shape of my body. It was more so my skin. And apparently, maybe I'm wrong, there's a body dysmorphia specifically like associated with acne. And when I was in 7th grade, so I was, I don't really know, 13, 13, 12, I started to get acne, and it was bad cystic acne.
Look at this. I can't see it because I've covered it up, but
sure, yeah, I mean,
I had it everywhere, like, honestly,
yes.
everywhere.
Yeah, I would have it on my forehead, and I actually, when I was in 8th grade, I started to do my makeup in the dark for school. So I would wake up, go into the bathroom, not turn the light on, and I would literally do my makeup like right next to like this little night light in the bathroom, because I couldn't handle seeing my entire face as it was. I couldn't handle seeing the acne. So it was very strange. I literally only was able to look like at pieces of my face at a time.
I kind of had that as well, which is really weird. Yeah. I went on the pill when I was like 19, and I didn't really have that like bad skin before. And then I went on the pill, and honest to God, it was like bad. All along here, like all along, and I still get breakouts now, but like just everywhere. And I would have like comments. Like, I remember like walking to the shops once, and I had my headphones in, but I wasn't listening to music, and someone was like, oh, she'd be pretty, she shouldn't have bad skin, and stuff like that. It was really awful. But yeah, I did that about like literally makeup in the dark, try not to look at my face. It's like I didn't want to look in the mirror at all. So like makeup was just like get it on quickly, and like I don't want to look at anything else. It's
It's weird. I mean, I didn't really realize how weird or strange that was, or how unhealthy that was, until I was older. And I was like, holy crap, I was doing my makeup in the dark because I didn't want to see my face, which is traumatic. And luckily, as I got older, I was still able to I was able to navigate it a little bit better. I was trying different things with my skin. I was overusing a million products. But even before I got my acne under control, like even like 3 years ago, I remember being on set of my show, and I had a huge cystic pimple in the middle of my forehead, and I felt so paranoid. I felt like it's all anyone could see. And then I'm standing in front of a camera where everyone can see. I'm thinking, oh, the only thing that they're seeing is this massive zit on my face. And I remember Googling, like, why is my acne making me feel this way? Why am I like literally feel like I can't like let anyone see me because of this pimple. And it was just kind of a realization that no one actually cares about your pimple except
Apart from
you.
you. Yes.
Right. And it's kind of,
Yes.
but really, I'm like, do you think the people seeing your zit are offended because you have a zit on your forehead? You know, it's like the people around you aren't thinking of you any differently because you have a pimple. And so I need to stop thinking of myself differently because my skin's breaking out. And needless to say, acne is terrible. And I would wear baseball hats to cover my acne. I mean, I couldn't do that obviously in front of a camera, and neither could you, but like, and you know, and you can't hide behind Photoshop in real life. So trying to embrace when your skin breaks out is a challenge for anyone, especially when you don't know how to get it under control. And I saw a bunch of different dermatologists and kind of tried a bunch of different things and finally found something that worked for me, like a regimen and that figured my skin out. But I remember how traumatizing it was on my mental health to have a breakout. And I remember I would have like an event on the red carpet and I would have a pimple right here.
Oh my
and
God, why do they always come when you're about to go to an event?
Well, I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I can't hide it from anyone. So I literally once like styled my hair like side bangs like this, and it looked it looked bad.
I mean,
but
for me, like I still get them here, and even like the other day, like I find myself being really apologetic. So like I did a shoot and I saw the raw images because obviously, like, you know, most images are touched up to a point. I try not to retouch a lot of mine, but my skin didn't look great, and it's because you're under really harsh lighting. You've got a ton of makeup on, like more makeup than you'd ever wear. It's like that orange, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, like I'm so sorry, my skin's so bad. And the photographer was like, look, it's fine, like don't worry about it. But you do find yourself being so embarrassed and like so apologetic for everything. It's so weird.
It's like you think you need to obviously like apologize for your skin, which is
and for being normal
concept. For being,
you know,
being
normal. I actually want to ask you another question now, and this is a question that came up a lot in the comment section when I announced our live time. But obviously Hollywood is notoriously brutal and tough, and loads of girls want to become actresses. They want to be part of that industry. So how do you make sure that you stay healthy, both physically and mentally, stay true to yourself, and don't feel pressure to lose weight in an industry that puts so much emphasis on thinness and the way that you look? And that was a very good journalist question, if I may say so myself. So
that is a loaded question. There's like 8 parts of that question. But how do I stay like mentally sane and physically sane in this industry? I go through periods of time where I exercise and when I don't. And to be honest, it's weird. My body doesn't change that much when I exercise, which can often make me feel like, well, what the hell am I even exercising for?
Right.
I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing the differences. My body looks exactly the same when I don't exercise. But I think it's just a matter of and some people obviously don't have that. Some people really see a difference when they work out, and it's hard. I've never worked out for more than like 6 months straight without having like a period of a few weeks where I've not been able to go to the gym. I haven't worked out in 2 months, and I'm not entirely happy with my body right now. But I'm also have learned and told myself to stop. And it's so much easier said than done, obviously, but take the pressure away from yourself. When you take the pressure away from your certain way, it's life-changing. When I've come to terms with the fact that I will never have a body that looks like a Victoria's Secret model. You know, my body will never look like Kendall Jenner or Bella Hadid, or, you know, my body will never look like that because part of it's just genetics.
Right.
So,
Milo!
like, yeah, he's being a little grumpy.
Join in. He feels very passionately about this subject.
Yeah, he is passionate. And I think once you alleviate yourself of that, like truly, once you say, there's only so much you can do, like your body can't, you're not a shapeshifter. You can't make your body something that it's not. And once I've accepted that, it was like a weight off my shoulders. I was like, okay, I'm not going to try to look like these models or these people, because I never will. And I will kill myself in the process of trying to.
Perfect.
And that's so, I mean, it's so unhealthy, and it's really frustrating and disheartening to me when models who are already skinny go the extra mile and Photoshop their waists or Photoshop their arms. And it's like, you know, you're just portraying truly a false image of what a human body can look like to millions of people who are staring at these photos and wondering how they can have a body like that. It's unattainable because you are literally going in and editing, you know, and it's kind of like, and some people don't edit their bodies totally. Like there are some models who are just naturally that way. They don't edit anything, and that's great for them, but I will never have that body. And I'm totally okay with that. I can admire how beautiful their bodies are and appreciate them for what they are, but I can accept that my body won't ever look like that, and that's okay. And I mean, it's kind of, again, easier said than done, but once I realized that and kind of processed it, I was like, okay, I'm not forcing myself to reach this unattainable goal. Like that's unattainable for me unless I stopped eating. But even then, I'm not going to have legs that long. I'm not going to have abs magically appear overnight. It's kind of just once you realize that and process that, it really takes like a load off of your shoulders. In my opinion, it does. And that's what's helped me, is the realization that I'm just not built that way. And that's totally
I mean, when I started modeling, sorry, I'm like using my laptop as a light, so I'm like keep touching the little mouse pad. When I first started modeling, you had to be a very certain fixed, like you had to be 34-inch bust, 24-inch waist, 34-inch hip, which honestly is like impossible. And so many of these models have boob jobs because you physically, most women who are like a size 0 do not have a 34-inch bust.
Right.
Even I don't have a 34-inch bust, you know. So yeah, that was really tough. But I do think the industry is starting to change. I think social media has had like a great impact, like on that, in showing more realistic bodies, showing cellulite, and just opening up this movement for people, not just like you know, like actresses who look like us, but just like models, you know, models who aren't perfect. And I think social media has kind of been quite positive for that. I feel like I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but
no, not at all. Like truly not at all. I agree. There are a lot of brands that have started posting, you know, like Rihanna's brand, like Fenty, you know, post.
Oh, we love Fenty.
We love, and like you can see the skin, you can see the textures, you can see the scarring on your model's face. You know, it's like, that is so refreshing to me, to see pores. And I think it's refreshing for everyone. And I really love that is a thing that brands are doing now and trying to embrace. And especially with clothes as well, you know, underwear models, you're seeing their bodies and you're seeing cellulite is so frustrating to me because it's been made up.
About this. Let's talk about cellulite.
Let's talk about it. Please.
I'm always going to have it. I remember being in school when I was like 13 and thinking, why do I have cellulite and no one else like has it? And I've got it now, and there's nothing I can do, and it's literally just water retention. Actually, someone the other day, like I posted a picture, like I posted a picture of like a bit of cellulite, and this girl was like, oh, I just pretend it's like pineapple skin, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be a pineapple.
I don't see the correlation.
Pineapple vibes. Yeah, with like arms and legs. Like, just imagine your pineapple. No, but like, it's unfortunately, it's just something that most women have, and it's like it goes away in certain lights. You know, you can be on the beach in bright sunlight. Obviously, your skin is not going to look as smooth as if you're in shadow or if you're in like a dim light. Do you have it?
I do, and I've never really I didn't really give it a second thought until I was kind of around some people who made it out to be a bad thing. You know, I'd be like, yeah, I have cellulite, and you know, this one girl was like, oh, I don't. yeah, I don't have that. And
Well,
I
you're
was
very
like,
lucky if you don't, because most people do.
I don't
You
really
know?
think I don't think you're lucky if you don't. I just think it's like, okay, that's fine. You
Yeah,
don't, but
great, good for you.
most people do, and it's not something that should be considered a flaw, because it's literally just like having freckles. Like, it's just a part of your skin. It's part of how you look. And I think it's very frustrating to me when people are like, yeah, I'm trying to get, fat. You can do like the free where it freezes your cellulite off or something like that. I'm
What's
like,
the point?
what's the point? It's just part of your body.
Just save your money. Buy a dress with the money.
Buy a dress.
Go
I
to,
agree.
like, where's a good burger restaurant? Go to Burger King, eat a burger.
Not Burger King. I had a McDonald's burger yesterday.
In and out. Being for me, every time I go to LA, in and out is like my thing.
It's your thing.
It's my thing.
In and
Anyway,
out is good.
that
Anyways,
can be like a whole other,
yeah,
life.
that's a whole different. No, I'm glad, and I'm so glad that you promote that as well. I think I truly in 6-8 months ago, I was going through a period where I was really unhappy with my body, and I was kind of really paying attention to your Instagram, and 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 even just the fact that you named your brand Squishy or Squish?
Squish.
Squish. So tell me
Squish.
how you decided on that name.
Yes, so because I have squish, like I've always had a tummy. I've got squishy thighs. I've got squishy arms. Like, I just like the word, and I think for a long time people like viewed it as quite a negative thing.
Sure.
I'm going to reclaim that word and make it into something positive. Also, like, our products are quite squishy. Like, we've got these under eye masks, so I was like, squish.
I love that.
Yeah, no, they're very cute. Actually, I was wearing one of our acne patches today, and I was going to wear one for the video, but I thought, maybe not.
You could. I mean, I love the little. For those who don't know, Charli has her own skincare line.
Thank you for plugging it, Lily. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Which she's sent to me, and she's sending me her new moisturizer.
Yeah.
But I just think, and that's like a phrase that I would tell myself when I fell down. I was like, I literally would say in my head, I would remember like your Instagram captions, love your squish. And I was like, me feeling bad about my like love handles that were seeming a little bit bigger than I wanted them to be, or like when you wear high-waisted pants but like it's not like a perfect hourglass because I have love handles. I have hips, it's like it's not just this perfect thing, and I think that can be hard to stomach sometimes. Obviously you see women with perfect hourglass shapes and they're like praised for having the best bodies in the world, but I don't have that. I have, it's like this, and then there's like a little extra lump. It's a little extra love bump there.
Just so much love to go around.
There's so much, and it's my little squish, and I think I just think that's so cool of you that you wanted to like reclaim that word as something positive. I just
thank you. I really appreciate that. I love that. I think it's so cute.
It is cute. People are asking where they can get your product.
Oh, thank you, commenters. You can get it from squishbeauty.com or Urban Outfitters if you're in the US. I think we're about to launch in Anthropology across the US and Canada. And then if you're in London, we're in Liberty London as well, which is a very posh department store. But squishbeauty.com. Can we talk very quickly again about airbrushing? Because you've been quite vocal about when people airbrush you, which I think is really, really important. And I remember, you were on one magazine cover, which shall remain nameless, but talk about airbrush.
It wasn't even airbrush. It was like pure.
What the hell? It wasn't even like Barbie wouldn't even look like that. It was not human body. It was so bizarre, and you rightfully called it out. But how does seeing really heavily photoshopped images of yourself affect your self-esteem?
Well, it was weird. It was a shared Cosmopolitan magazine cover in the Philippines, I believe, and they had photoshopped both my castmate Camila and I for our covers, and she's the one who actually pointed it out to me. Cammie sent me a picture. She was like, have you seen this? And I was like, To be honest, I had seen it, I think maybe in passing, and I literally didn't even process it. Like, I didn't even notice until she pointed it out to me, and I was like, oh my God, I look like a cartoon character. And that was just like, it didn't even make me feel bad self-esteem wise. It kind of just pointed out the ridiculousness of the industry. And I think the Cosmo Philippines, their response to that was, we just tried to kind of appeal to our demographic, like the body type that is, you know, desirable in our society, like in our audience. And I was like, okay, that's a really shit excuse to Photoshop
That's
someone's
a
body
really
in
bad idea,
half.
but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think when people Photoshop, it doesn't, to be honest, it kind of doesn't really surprise me. It doesn't affect me because I almost like expect it, which is sad. But it's like, I know that pictures that I post, I'm not going to try to like make my arms look smaller or make my waist, like if my shirt is sitting at an unflattering angle, you can tell that. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's just part of it. And once you start to Photoshop every little thing and finesse, you kind of breed yourself into wanting that perfection constantly. And
Right,
so
yeah.
I've never wanted to Photoshop my own images or even, you know, I get like for magazines, sometimes they need to Photoshop the clothes to make them look like they're sitting, you know, nicely against your frame and whatever. And there's only so much you can do when you do a photo shoot and it's in someone else's hands to Photoshop. But when it comes to my own personal images, I just try to, you know, it's just, I don't want to filter it. Maybe I'll do a lighting filter, barely ever, but like, I'm not going to go out of my way to reshape myself. I just think, I mean, people are always going to try to alter your body to how they think it should be.
Right, yeah.
But, you know, everyone's always going to try to make you skinnier. That's just how it is.
Right.
Like, they're just going to, even people who are crazy skinny are going to be photoshopped to look skinnier. Like, that's just, you could never be skinny enough.
Yeah. Sometimes I see people that I've seen on Instagram and stuff in real life, and you're like, you don't look like that. You know, it's really strange.
Right.
But when I started modeling, I think that was like 2011 or something. I can't even look at the pictures now because, like I was saying, back then it was all about like size 0, size 0, size 0. And like the photo, I'm like, what were you even like? Even the Photoshop is so bad because they were just so desperate to make me so skinny. I can't ever share them. Even like, you know, that bit under your arm.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes call it the vagina arm, you know, because like.
But like, it's an armpit.
Armpit, whatever the armpit is, but you know, but usually when you stand like that, you're going to get a bit of a
an overlap.
Yeah, and obviously, like, you know, it's going to happen. Sorry, I'm like checking that I'm not going to run out of battery percent. Hang on.
Are you good? You're good for battery? Oh, she's plugging it in.
She's got this on.
Let me see my other questions.
Yes. I'm loving this, by the way. I'm having a lot of fun.
Me too.
I feel like I'm a journalist. I'm living my best life.
Your best life. Right.
Yeah.
Me too. We were talking a little bit about social media. How does social media impact your mental health on a daily basis?
You know, for a long time, I would follow accounts that were like inspirational or thinspirational. So like girls who I'm never going to look like, but who I want to look like, who are really, really skinny, whose bodies do not look like mine, blah, blah, blah. And what I do think that social media has, like, gets a bad rep in terms of, can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, it just sounds a bit like I was getting a bit of stuff in the background. I do think social media gets a bad rep, but I do also think that we're lucky in the sense that we can curate, you know, who we follow, the brands that we want to follow. If there's a problem with, you know, a brand using a really skinny model, we can now stand up and go, maybe, you know, don't use that model in the future, or, you know, don't Photoshop them to look a certain way. So yeah, my perspective on social media has massively changed, but I do think you just have to remember it's fake. Like, it's a world, it's a virtual world. It's not you as a person. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously sometimes, you know, like at the moment we're in quarantine or you should be quarantining. If you're not,
Right.
stay home. But you know, there are days when you're just on your phone and you're scrolling and you're just like, Jesus Christ, everyone's got a great life, but that's what it is.
Right.
Great went to the Maldives last year, like, you know, brilliant.
You're right. I mean,
okay,
it's everyone. It's everyone putting their best foot forward for the world to see.
Right.
For
but
sure.
For me, like, you know, I look at you and like, I don't know how you deal with it, because it must feel like you're in a fishbowl when you have some like millions of people basically commenting on your life, on your personal life, on the way you look, or the way you dress. Like, how do you deal with that?
It's weird, and I kind of always tell myself when I need to like give myself a break, I'm like, there is no rule book. No one told me how to be famous. No one told me how to act in the spotlight, or how to handle having 20 million Instagram followers. There is not a rule book that you get. No one tells you what to do, what not to say, what to post. So it's been a learning process. And to be honest, you know, people are saying, how do you handle the negativity? I handle it in a way that probably everyone else would. Like, sometimes it gets to me, and there can be 100 wonderful comments, happy, positive comments, and then one comment of someone saying, oh, you look like shit.
Why do you focus on the what? It's like human nature, but you do. It's like if someone writes, like the other day I got called a prostitute, I was like, great, thanks mate. But you know, it's like you get called that and then you focus on it and you're like, oh my God, and you get all these lovely ones. But I think it's just human nature to just focus on the ones that make you feel shit about yourself.
It just sticks, yeah, because it sticks to you, and it's hard to ignore, because then you question whether it's true. And someone just commented, I don't understand anything, which I thought was kind of relatable. But I mean, I kind of just got to cut myself some slack sometimes. I'm like, truly, like, and I hope you do too as well. Like, you don't, my mom just texted me and threw me off. Thanks, Amy.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry.
She was telling me I was doing a great job.
Hi, Mrs. Reinhart.
Like I said, like, I do have to kind of just give myself a break sometimes, because I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to focus on, I have a bad habit of answering people who say shitty things to me on Twitter. I kind of get back at them sometimes, and that's just me. I'm like, kind of gotta be feisty and defend myself sometimes, and that's fine. And people are like, why do you focus on that? It's like, I'm not focusing on it, trust me. I'm giving it like 30 seconds of my attention. But the wonderful comments, and the people who are supporting my poetry book right now, and the people who you know, tweeted me after I did my poetry reading on Miley's live, it's just like, I see all that, and I see all that, and it really is a beautiful thing that impacts me every day. And I so appreciate, I think we take, and I know I do, I take the positivity, the positive messages that I get for granted sometimes, because I don't often, you know, say thank you or I appreciate it. I don't go out of my way as often to appreciate the people who are being consistently positive towards me and supportive. And so I'd like to kind of go out of my way to show appreciation for the people who are supporting me rather than trying to bring me down.
So thank you everyone for being
so nice. I mean, thank you to those who go out of their way, take time out of their day to watch us talk, and to well, not like people really have much going on, so but regardless, you're taking time to listen to me talk, and you know, who am I to be sitting here talking about body image? But I just think it's, you know, I very much appreciate people who are supportive when they don't have to be. So it's good. It's nice.
Well, you plugged my product. Can we just talk very quickly about your book? Because I'm very excited about this. I do love a bit of poetry. So when's it coming out?
Well, because of this worldwide COVID situation, it got pushed, unfortunately, a couple months. So it was supposed to come out in May, and now it's coming out in September. which is a bummer. It's a bummer because I realized the other day when I read a poem out loud that there's like a typo that I wanted to fix. And I texted my editor. I was like, we can fix this, right? Because it doesn't come out for another 5 months. She's like, no, we can't fix it. And I'm like, now it's going to bother me. She's like, we'll have to fix it in the reprint. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, that happened to me. They forgot to put a full stop at the end of a chapter, and I was like,
now it's going to bother you for the rest of your life.
Oh my God, I'm never going to forget this.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I'm so excited. I'm going to definitely order it off some book selling websites.
I think I have the link in my bio, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I have it in my bio. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. It's scary, it's vulnerable, and I think I'm gonna do the audiobook reading of it. People want to hear me read my own poetry, which I feel uncomfortable doing.
No, do it. That'd be amazing.
It's weird for me to do that, but because I kind of like want people to read it with their own interpretation. Like I feel like poetry should be read in your head, like in your own, in your own way, the way that you would speak. But I don't know. I guess if people want me to do the audiobook, I will do it.
I'll download it.
Thanks.
So
I prefer you to read it while you're like looking outside a window on like a rainy day. That'd be like nice.
Just like pretending I'm like in a music video, just
thinking about life, looking out the window. I think those were all the questions that I had written down. I've just got
one more.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you have time for one more?
I have nothing but time.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Okay, so something we haven't spoken about yet, actually, and which was a question that a lot of people asked about, and I could see it in the comments. This comments thing is very distracting.
It is. I'm trying not to look at it.
I know. I'm trying really hard not to look. Okay. We've obviously both suffered with anxiety in the past. Like, my anxiety sometimes gets so bad. So how are you dealing with it during #COVID-19? Because we're obviously at home, we can't do anything. I mean, for me personally, like, I thought this time was going to be really difficult for my anxiety, and I've had therapy for it. Like, I've done everything that I can. But actually, it's kind of been okay because I realise that everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
So how are you coping with it?
I'm kind of the same way. I guess it's weird because this is exactly what I would have wished for a month ago. Not obviously the pandemic part of the situation, but the idea that that's not what I want. But like the idea that I could just kind of be in a singular space for an extended period of time and have time to be a human and sort of like connect with myself and experience nature through my window, I guess, not really going out into it, but I have been going for walks with my dog, obviously being safe, staying away from, keeping a good distance away from everybody, and wearing gloves and masks, but truly I think like Milo, my little, come here Milo, come say hi. I would love to see Milo, come here. He came into my life at such an amazing time. I think he was like meant to be in my life right now because he's the only reason why I kind of like get out of bed. He wakes me up in the morning. Oh no, he's so scrumpy. He wakes me up. He's like, time to get up, Mom. I just love dogs so much. Dogs are just my favorite thing. They really are. And he's got such a cute face. He's been a lifesaver. I go out of my house to take him on walks and to take care of him, and he's been such a little. He likes kisses as well. Such an angel. He's attached. He's like my little shadow. He's so cute. He's ridiculous. He'll just. Can you bring him like filming and stuff? Yeah, I bring him to set. I bring him to my trailer so he chills in my trailer, and the people on set know who he is and love him. So dogs are so good for anxiety, by the way. They are truly emotional support. Like, yeah, that's what dogs are. Like, truly, you survived this whole thing because of him. And also, I've been doing puzzles. I've been painting, which is weird because I don't usually paint. It's like when I'll only paint under certain circumstances where I'm like super depressed or like have nothing else to do or need to be creative. And so I've just been painting out of like relaxation. I find it really relaxing to zone out and paint and listen to music and like I said, even just take him for walks. Like it is still important to be getting fresh air and letting, seeing the sun at least once a day, being
Yeah,
safe and
definitely.
responsible about it. And also writing. I have been writing more and,
Same.
yeah.
Got to love honestly anything creative. It's honestly I've been finding this time it's really calmed me down because I'm such like I need to do stuff all the time. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you don't and this time can actually be a really great time to sort of relax and get to know yourself a bit more, maybe stay off social media if it does make you anxious. I don't know, but yeah,
I saw my like screen report where it said like you're up 15%. I was like, that's not as bad.
Phone for like 23 hours a day. You're like, oh Jesus Christ. Honestly,
it wasn't as bad as I thought. Like it said only like a 15% rise, and I was like, okay, it could be worse. But
I'm not going to talk to you about mine.
Okay. I hope maybe you can get some puzzles.
I'm gonna order a puzzle.
Okay, good. Jiggy is a good site to check out. They just sent me some puzzles. They sent me this boob puzzle. This is the sheet.
Well, I love anything to do with boobs, so that would be great for me.
Yeah, do that. It's good. It's extremely challenging. It's sitting right here in front of me, this puzzle, that I will continue working on for probably like 3 weeks. But I think, does that about wrap us up?
It does, unless you want to answer a couple of questions that some people have asked. Maybe two or three.
Yeah, go for it. Let's see if there's any questions that are going to come in that are.
Oh, well, hang on. We've kind of covered the ones that I've. Oh, here's one. How do you stay positive when you've gained weight?
How do I stay positive when I've gained weight? I think, like I said, taking the pressure off myself, because I'm not trying, I guess it really is just sort of taking the pressure off myself, not to conform to any specific body. Like I'm not in my head. I don't think like, okay, once my body looks like this, I'll be happy. Like I don't have that. I don't have like a goal or like, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds. Like,
yeah,
that's never really worked for me. That's not the kind of mindset that I mean, I've never done like a diet. I've never really done anything like that. It's sort of like, if I feel shitty about my body, I'll make an effort to make sure that I'm putting better things in my body and eating better and not going out of my way to snack on crappy things that are laying around, and also just not bringing them in the home in the first place, because I do snack a lot.
Nothing wrong with that though?
No.
Nothing wrong with a bit of snacking?
No, I snack all the time. But
especially now, I'm just like, just eating for something to do, honestly. I'm like, oh, what time is it? 3 p.m. Right, I'll eat a biscuit just for
time to eat.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I mean, give yourself a break. We gain weight, we lose weight.
Exactly. And
that's what happens.
Yeah, it's just a number at the end of the day. Like, it's going to happen, especially women. We have hormones. The scale's going to go up during the month. It's going to come down. It's honestly just a number. Don't beat yourself up about it.
It's not a measure of your personality or your worth. As the numbers go up and down, it does not affect you. So don't let it. Yeah.
Someone else said they actually went like into my DMs for this question. How do you stop yourself from self-harming? I personally have never self-harmed, but I did suffer with bulimia for like 10 years of my life, so I do understand that harming yourself can become really addictive. Honestly, like, I'm really big into therapy, and when I moved to New York, like, it was the first time I really like sought help for my eating problems, and I massively believe that therapy can help. I know not everyone has the budget to do that, but there are some apps where you can talk to therapists and stuff like that for quite cheap. But harming yourself is never the answer, guys. And you'll feel a high for perhaps like a second, but you're going to go straight back down again. So the sooner you address that, and the sooner you address your confidence, I think the sooner you can kind of get better.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like quitting any bad habit if you're self-harm, and I used to actually as well, which is something that
Oh wow.
it's something I haven't really talked about much to anyone, to fans. So it may be a little bit surprising, but I did used to cut myself when I
I'm
was
sorry.
16. I don't do it anymore. I did it out of frustration and not even really, some people say people cut themselves out of attention, and it wasn't that. It was sort of just, and the way I was explained it eventually was because you're hurting emotionally and you can't find release from the emotion, or from the negative emotions that you have, you turn to physically hurting yourself in order to
Mm,
express the pain physically, and that makes a lot of sense, obviously, and kind of once I understood that, I understood why I would go out of my way to harm myself, and I have luckily very little kind of scars left over from that. But even if I did have huge scars, it's just a part of your story. I think scars are beautiful, but I did used to do that, and I would cover it up with bracelets and for a very short amount of time, and then I kind of moved where I was cutting myself so no one could see it, but I could still feel it. It was more just like self. I was just inflicting pain on myself in order to distract myself,
yeah.
and I think it, like any sort of like addiction or problem, like even smoking, you have to just find a substitute for that that's healthy. And I think I've never smoked cigarettes. I've never done that, but I know that like when you're being told to, it's like a routine. It's like a habit. It's something that you just
Mm,
do and need to do. And so finding something that you can put in place of that, if you feel the need to self-harm, which sometimes I do feel that urge again, just to kind of have like a physical release. When I do feel that way, I reach out to a friend, or I go out of my way to make my hands busy. I start to paint, or I put a puzzle together. Um, you know, Make sure that you aren't surrounding yourself with the environment where you can do that, where you can easily access something that you can hurt yourself with if you're kind of in that vulnerable state. Um, it's very morbid, but like I would go out of my way to like find razor blades that I could have for when
right.
I wanted to self-harm, and so I would go out of my way to acquire those things. Um, Obviously, I was just kind of feeding into my own desire to want to self-harm. But eventually it kind of just, the urge stopped. I realized how this was doing absolutely nothing for me and was not making me any stronger, or um, it wasn't doing anything positive for me. It wasn't healing me. It wasn't helping me. It was just kind of making me feel more
Right.
ashamed. And there's nothing to feel ashamed about. I mean, so many people suffer with self-harm, and you can, I mean, do you consider like an eating disorder self-harm? Like, is that how you would?
Massively, yeah. God, sorry, I can't breathe. Yeah, no, massively. I mean, you are abusing yourself, like
Yeah.
when I was bulimic and stuff, I would, like you, like going out of your way to find razor blades. I would go out of my way to find public restrooms or like, bathrooms and stuff to be sick in, because
Yeah.
it was such a secret. And it's like this shame, and there's this addiction of like not wanting people to find out what you're doing, and the pain, like the hurting yourself. If you stick your nails down your throat, like you're going to make it bleed, and obviously being sick like isn't nice, and then you do it until there's like nothing comes up, till it's literally vile. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But by doing that and by self-harming, you aren't addressing the problem. You're
Right.
just distracting yourself. So you really have to address that. And if you can take anything from this about body image or mental health or whatever, just work on yourself and just really use this time, I think, to feel more confident and remove yourself from bad situations and toxic people and toxic relationships, etc., etc. Because that's really important. You are important.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues for me has always been like, how do I help myself? Like, how do I go out of my way to to take care of myself? What is self-care? Like, what does that look like? And then I kind of realized that I was already doing it. I was already writing in my journal how I felt. I was already going out of my way to speak to my therapist. I was already doing puzzles and like engaging my brain in something and not just sitting here looking out the window listening to sad music. Like I'm just keeping myself and my, not distracted, but like I'm just spending time with myself. I'm writing and I'm reading and doing art, like I'm painting, and I'm just sort of sitting here. I don't feel alone when I'm like working on art or keeping myself busy. I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm just sort of like,
No, it does. Yeah.
it's hard to be like, what is self-care? Like, how do you care for yourself? But it's sort of like, you're usually already probably doing it by taking your alone time and kind of giving yourself a chance to breathe and like, and feel things. And that's what you're supposed to do. Like feelings aren't going to disappear. Sadness doesn't disappear. I kind of think that you have to like expel it from your body. So if you're feeling sad and depressed and you need to cry, then just cry, and it feels good, and like
Right, yeah.
get it out of your body and feel it and work through it. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel for me. I would love to, I mean, I do believe that and think that like no matter what you're going through, it's comforting to know that you're already in it. Like you're already going through it. If you feel like shit, if you're feeling depressed, you're already going through it. Like you're on your way towards a better ending. You're on your way towards that bright light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to like keep going through the shit. You really do. You have to keep going through the shit in order to find the light, and it comes eventually, and it comes sort of like before you even realize that you're better.
Exactly.
But yeah, not turning to self-harm, turning to friends and to activities and to art and to music. I've found music to be so therapeutic during this time, and I've discovered a lot of bomb music. And I realize that I'm terrible at puzzles, but I enjoy them anyways. And I don't know how to paint, but I'm doing it anyways because it's therapeutic, and I think.
And it's fun, and you're allowed to like look after yourself. I think that we have this like guilt and this shame, like, oh, I shouldn't be taking care of myself, but you are allowed to, and that's part of being human. Like you should work, but you're also allowed to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And not be too harsh on yourself. And my favorite quote ever is, "This too shall pass," because everything will end. If you're going through a really bad time now, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, like you were saying. So yeah.
Are you going to get that tattooed on yourself? This too.
I was about to say that. Tattooed across my forehead.
Do you have any tattoos?
Like over my eyebrows. I actually do. Which I'm trying to get removed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my one of my ex's names, which was not a very smart idea, was it? Don't ever do that, guys. If you're watching, yeah.
Well, I wore this shirt. It says, "A world of love for our lives.
Oh,
spread love."
That is very nice.
That's my little.
I just got my
your denim jumpsuit.
Yes, by Good American, which is a very body positive brand.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for going out of your way to speak with me and have this conversation in front of 20,000
it's been really
people.
Fun. I'm so glad we've done this, and like we should definitely do more lives. I think it was really fun. People are saying you got to save it after this is done. Is there a button that you press? Yes,
it's gonna say like save your story or like keep it on your thing, and you say.
Okay, I'm just so bad at this. So sorry guys, I'm a bit of a grandma.
Yeah, once you click end, you can save it or like keep it on your story. I don't know. I'm not good at this either, but
right.
Okay.
Bye, Milo. Oh, look his little face.
I have to go take him for a walk now. He's annoyed at me.
That's my poor wave.
Bye.
Kind of weird. Oh, so cute. No, it was good talking to you, and
you as well.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I'll probably text you later.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for everyone who tuned in.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.